samples, which we give you free. It's just added a way of saying thank you for standing and watching. This is called turning or barrelling a potato in the trade, and this is called a spiral cutter. Thousands of people have got these, little thread with a blade attached to it. Just start it off with your fingers like a corkscrew. It's not a new idea, this, it's over 70 years old now. It's American originally. You can't see it, but all those slicers, they're actually joined together. So what it does, it makes all your vegetables go much, much further, you see. Now that looks lovely, that, doesn't it? The big question is, what the hell do you do with a potato that looks like a spring? Well, you can have hours of fun in the kitchen with it if you want to. Seriously though, you know, if you want to roast a leg of lamb or a joint of beef, you do 2 or 3 of these, you link them, and then you baste them round your roast with a little bit of fat from the meat. Or you can make a potato rosette. In other words, if you bring the ends round, you interlink them, you join them up, you drop them into deep fat oil, they make a nice change to chips. Kids love those with beans and sausages. Now, just a little tip here for you. If you have seen the advert on the TV for these, they always do this bit on a cucumber. It's a slightly different story because they have a habit of editing the TV. There's a soft bit in the middle. It's not a problem, but it does mean you need to just go off centre where it's nice and firm. Now I'm just going to do a little bit. This is just to give you the general idea. I don't spend a lot of time on this. Like I say, we give you these free anyway. But when you bring all the slices back together, if you look, you'll notice. Now, watch this. If you just squeeze in a touch at the back there for me. Yep. Just squeeze in at the back a touch so you can see this bit. Now, watch carefully. If you look, can you see where the spiral finishes? It actually leaves a little hole. Alright? Now, what you do is this. You have one last play with it, first of all, because you can't resist it. There's got to be room for a little bit of fun, you know what I mean? You put a knife in that hole like so, you draw now to any point on the outside. Because the next bit, well, it's a little bit like magic really. They're now completely separate. Now, a lady said to me yesterday, she has more trouble slicing those things. What do those bring to mind? Tears, that's it. Does anybody here wear a gas mask and goggles when they're slicing onions? My mother used to put a piece of brown bread between her teeth. I don't know if you've ever heard of that one. Suck on a silver spoon, leave the tap running. That's another one. This is the way the professionals do it. Now, you will see the chefs use our machine on the TV. The reason why the chefs like them is because they're made to catering standards. But it also means that each and every one of those slices is exactly the same thickness. Now, that's not the best bit. You see that safety guard, that protects your fingers. You see when you rest your finger on that button there, it'll feed it right down to the final millimetre. That's the bit you don't need. You'll see Anthony Worrell Thompson do this with our machine on the TV. This is the easiest dish in the world. If you can slice a potato thin enough, you layer it up with equal quantities of cream and milk with some garlic in the oven. It only takes 30 minutes. It's a classic. It's called potato dauphinoise. Yeah. The only difficult bit is slicing the potato. Has anybody here ever tried a layer of potato, a layer of onion, a layer of cheese? Does anybody here cook? Now, by the way, I don't suppose you've noticed, these are thin slices, these are thicker ones. If you want to change the thickness, you just turn your slide over. But the test for the sharpness and the quality of a blade isn't something hard, it's something soft. Those blades are professional grade, German surgical stainless steel. When was the last time anybody here got a dozen slices from one tomato with all the middles still intact? Just look at that. Now that slide there will do one last job, because as well as slicing, it will also shred. So if you want to make your own coleslaw, for instance, has anybody here ever tried to shred cabbage with a knife? Be honest, does it take forever? Does anybody here get thick bits and thin bits? Does anybody here just get thick bits? There's not another machine in its class. Is that marvellous? Great for Sam Barley. Take that slide out, that's the one with no teeth on it. Put in the slide with the big teeth on it, because we're now going to make the nation's favourite food. Chips, that's it. And a gentleman said chicken tikka masala yesterday. Has anybody here ever tried those microchips? You know, the ones you put in the microwave, yeah? You'd rather eat the box than eat the chips, wouldn't you? Well, there's your potato, there's your machine, and there are your chips. Proper ones. And I tell you what, next time you're in Tesco, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, just have a look for these. I've seen the supermarkets charge as much as £1, 10 pence for 2 ounces of these with a floret of broccoli or cauliflower. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? I don't know if anybody's bothered to work it out, but that makes carrots £10 a pound because they're called batons or crudités. And if you think that's good, there's only one other machine in the world that'll do this job. Now watch carefully what I'm going to do now. Look at this. You'll need to squeeze in a touch at the back so you can see this. Now watch. If you look carefully, on either side of the guard, can you see here, there are 2 little sets of arrows. Can you see that? Now those are there for a very good reason. They show you the right direction. Are you with me? Now if you take the aid of a knife and you draw now opposite to those arrows, yeah? I'm doing an apple or a pear for a fresh fruit salad. But you can do turnip and sweet for soups and stews. Look, it's a dicer as well. Well, what if I now run a little bit of celery through there? I add walnuts, sultanas, and a dash of mayonnaise. Are you with me? The only thing that this machine will not chip, chop, slice, dice, or shred is something with a hard stone in the middle. Now, if you take the stone out, it's not a problem. And for convenience, you can even hold it straight over a wok or a saute pan. Now, the third and final slide is the one you'll see Nick Nairn use on the TV. Spaghetti carrots, he calls these. Put them in a stir fry if you like Chinese food. Here's a little tip for you. Pop these in the microwave with a dollop of butter. On full power, they take a minute and 10 seconds only. Al dente juliennes. Well, you've probably noticed by now that these are not a toy. They're German made. We've been supplying the catering trade for 59 years this year. 59. I've been demonstrating this for 28 years now. Imagine doing it for just imagine doing it, never mind 28 years. Now, you won't find these in the shops. You need to go into any good catering suppliers, Continental Chef Supplies or Nesbitt's. They'll charge you the normal regular price, which is $39.99. We're here to represent Borna, the manufacturers from Germany. While we're at the show, we give you a discount. But if it's for this last job I'm going to show you now, forget what it costs. I've already showed you how to slice an onion. The chips, well, the chips were amazing, weren't they? There's only one job worse than slicing onions. Does anybody here make spaghetti bolognese? Does anybody here make chili con carne? What about steak, liver, mince, stuffing, curries, soups and stews? Do you know, it's the most internationally used vegetable in the world. You tell me, you're my judge and jury. Is that good for chopped onion? Yeah. You should see your faces, by the way. Now, to wash them up, because they're made for the catering trade, they're built around speed and efficiency. There's nowhere for food particles to collect.